That's a lot of birds behind me there. So this morning I've come out very early. It's not too long after sunrise actually, maybe about 45 minutes. And as you can see, there is no nice sunrise colour in the sky today, and that's what I expected. I've come out today in the hope of capturing some more moody atmospheric seaside shots. I thought there would be a chance of some mist today, and there is some parts of mist hanging around. It's a mix between mist and some light drizzle, so not your typical sunrise conditions that you'd get up for, but hopefully all the same I'll come away with some nice images today. So this is not your typical seaside image. It's not something I expected to be capturing today. It's now probably about 6:30 AM and the mist and drizzle is gone, so we've got overcast conditions, but that's okay because I found an unusual splash of colour to include in my image. We've got all these nice bright ferns here in my foreground, and we've also got these other off-white sort of creamy coloured plants. And when you stand in this position, they form some nice leading lines and a nice splash of colour at the bottom and bottom left of my image. And it just leads you out to the small section of the ocean I'm including in my composition. I've got a nice rock here which comes down from the left, and then it's balanced with the rocks off in the distance coming in from the right. So I quite like the image actually. I think the splash of colour is a nice addition in these overcast conditions. Off in the distance as well, although there's no real colour in the sky, there's a nice break in the clouds which is providing a horizontal line. So the camera is set up here in portrait orientation, pointing slightly down so I can include even the thistles just at the base of my tripod here in the image. Now, if I focus at infinity in this image at f16, I can almost get the entire image sharp from front to back, if I want that of course. To get the immediate foreground sharp, I need to take another exposure focused on the immediate foreground just underneath my tripod. So I've done that, so if I want everything sharp I can do that, but I also think it may work quite nice in this image if the foreground is deliberately blurred for a few feet just to lead you into the image. So an aperture of around f5, f5.6 perhaps, in that region provides that effect, which I think could work quite nice as well. The final finishing touch to this image, if I could get it, is if some seabirds fly across the scene from right to left nicely and I can just capture them at the correct spot in the image. I may be hoping for too much there, but it's certainly an option. I'm not really going to do a long exposure on this scene. I think the subtle ripples in the ocean help the scene, and I don't think there's enough ocean in my composition to make it worthwhile. So I'm going to grab a couple more shots, cross my fingers, maybe get some birds in the image, and then move on and see what else I can find. So there's been some more rain, some more drizzle, and it's quite cold today, quite moody overcast conditions, but at the moment it's dry. And I'm always checking the front of my lens or any filters that I've got on to make sure there's no drizzle on it. So I'm all set up for my next image. I'm capturing this rock here out at sea, and I've got it tucked away nicely in the bottom left hand corner of my frame. And I'm going for a very simple clean look here. I'm going to do a long exposure in this one, so I've got my 10 stop ND filter on the front of the lens, and I'm going for a 25-second exposure. So I'm going to set that off just now. I'm at f11 ISO 100 simply to give me the length of exposure that I want. I don't need f11 to get the required depth of field, it's simply to get the exposure time that I want for this particular image. There's some nice white splashes of sea just along the left edge of the rocks. I'm hoping to capture that in the long exposure, give that area a nice little soft milky look, and we've got it there. And I really like that image. It's nice and simple, it's clean, and that's just what I wanted for this type of scene. I really like the look of the sky. It's quite a moody overcast sky, and we've got lots of empty space with the sea and the ocean. So a very simple, clean, long exposure image which I'm really happy with. So I've got a slight problem now. I came to the coast today and I didn't have any plan or title for the vlog that I'm doing, but I was obviously going to call it something along the line of seascapes or coastal photography. But as I've been walking along the coastline, I've seen the opportunity for a couple of images that you'll have seen now, which really aren't seascapes by any stretch of the imagination, so I'll need to give that a little bit of thought. But at the moment I'm just stopping to think, having a look around at this really nice view that's in front of me here. And I think it's important sometimes just to take a few minutes and just sit down and look at the scenery all around you. The first thing that's revealed to me, and very importantly, the most important thing, is I don't want to go much further this way or this vlog will never see the light of day. If anything falls down that way, I sure ain't going to try and pick it up. But in terms of photography, if you just stop and take a look around you and just look at the scene and try and work out, is there a potential photograph there? What do you want to photograph? So I've just been having a look around this scene here, and there's so many options. I'm slightly limited by the dangerous nature of the area regarding where I can actually position myself, so that limits my composition in some ways, but there's so many opportunities that I'm seeing. But I'm tempted to get the 16 to 35 onto the camera. I'm seeing a potential for quite a nice vista shot. There's also potential for a shot looking down to the drop beneath me. The water looks quite nice there, so I'm going to have a look at these two options and see if I think any of them will work as a photograph, or perhaps they both will, but I'm not going to go too far that way, that's for sure. I've now swapped to my 16 to 35 to get the Vista shot, the wide shot that I spoke about. It's been quite tricky to get the composition set up, but I'm really pleased with what I've got set up now. So I'm at 16mm, and I'm really trying to capture the dramatic nature of the coastline here. So we've got, I guess you could say, 4 prominent peaks in this image. We've got one coming in from the bottom right. The second one is the dramatic slope that I took in my previous shot. Then we've got 2 further large peaks off in the distance, and there's a variety of smaller parts that jut out towards the ocean as well. So I really like it. The clouds are fantastic, really dramatic, the type of clouds you would like to get in a coastal shot. My aperture is f8, and using my 10 stop ND filter I'm going for an 8-second exposure. So everything's set up, I just need to wait to get a little bit more soft light on some of the coastline here, some of the rocks and cliffs and grass, and I think the image will be just perfect. So I've captured my final image for today. I've really enjoyed myself at the coast and had a fantastic time. I think I've captured a few nice photographs, and I'll be keen to edit them once I get home. So as always, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in my next vlog.